I often try to imagine what the life behind this facade might be, like who has sat on a desk behind this ledge for 60 years perhaps, and all the different secretaries, editors, photographers, translators that worked in a vast organization like the United Nations. My name is Evangelos Kotsioris. I'm a curatorial assistant in the Department of Architecture and Design here at MoMA. We're looking at a fragment of the curtain wall facade of the United Nations Secretariat building in New York, which was designed by a board of architects selected by countries that were members of the United Nations between 1947 and 1952. What's fascinating about this object is that it's one of the first facades that was part of a fully glazed glass facade. Architects have imagined and fantasized for a long time how to create a fully glass enclosed building. And the United Nations Secretariat was one of the first buildings that actually materialized this idea. So on a technological level, what you see here is 3 bays of a very vast facade that were prefabricated on the ground. Usually they were put together by the labor of women, actually, all the frames that you see here. And then they would be hoisted up with a crane and hung on the outside of the building like a curtain. That's why the system is called a curtain wall. The reasons why I find this particular piece important personally is that it is an imperfect object in itself and on many levels. On a kind of condition level and object level, if you look closely at all the surfaces, it's not a finished, polished object. It has about 63 years of being exposed to the elements, to the salt water on the East River. So every scratch and every dent has a kind of story behind it. And it was a conscious choice here at the museum to not restore it to make it look like pristine. We wanted to keep the character. The second way that this fragment is imperfect is environmentally. When it was designed, there was no great understanding of how the thermodynamics of a fully glass enclosed building would work. So what you see here is a single pane of glass, which we would never do today. And that would create a lot of solar heat gain and a lot of glare for workers. So a lot of the times they would draw down the different Venetian blind systems that they would have, or even put aluminum foil pieces. So there's that imperfection. We kind of tend to present objects in the museum in a heroic manner, and I think that's kind of the opposite of that. It doesn't have that success history behind it. But it was an important archetype for this kind of facade, the idea that you could create a very slender building that would create favorable conditions for people to work on a daily basis. But also at nighttime, through the inversion of the lighting, it would almost act like a lantern that is lighting the city.